Hello, and welcome to the Deliberate Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Allison Dunn, and I'm thrilled to be with you today as we dive into a topic that might make some of you a little uncomfortable: vulnerability in leadership. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Allison, vulnerability? That sounds like weakness. Leaders are supposed to be strong, decisive, and confident. And you're right about the strong, decisive, and confident part. But what if I told you that embracing vulnerability actually strengthens your leadership? Today, we're exploring how showing vulnerability can build trust and create stronger teams. And trust me, this isn't just feel-good fluff. There's solid research behind this, and I've seen it transform leaders and organizations firsthand. Let's start by addressing the elephant in the room. What exactly is vulnerability in leadership? It's not about oversharing personal problems or crying in team meetings. True leadership vulnerability is about having the courage to show up authentically, admit when you don't have all the answers, acknowledge mistakes, and be willing to ask for help. Brené Brown, who's done extensive research on vulnerability, defines it as uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. It's about removing the armor we often wear as leaders. I remember working with a CEO, let's call him Mark, who prided himself on never showing weakness. He had all the answers, never admitted mistakes, and maintained a polished, perfect image. The problem? His team was disengaged, turnover was high, and innovation was practically non-existent. People were afraid to take risks or share ideas because Mark had created an environment where imperfection wasn't tolerated. When we started working together, one of the first breakthroughs came when Mark admitted to his team that he was struggling with a particular market challenge and needed their input. The energy in the room shifted immediately. People leaned in, started offering solutions, and the quality of ideas was remarkable. That small moment of vulnerability opened the door to a completely different team dynamic. So why does vulnerability work so powerfully in leadership? Here are 3 key reasons. First, vulnerability builds trust. When you show your human side, you create psychological safety, where team members feel safe to speak up and take risks. Second, it fosters innovation. By modeling that failure is part of learning, you empower your team to experiment and create. Third, it builds authentic connections. People follow relatable leaders, not perfect ones. Sharing challenges makes you approachable and human. Now, I want to be clear. Vulnerability in leadership is not about being weak or indecisive. In fact, it takes tremendous courage. And there's a balance, what I call strategic vulnerability. Here are 5 ways to practice strategic vulnerability. 1. Share lessons from failures. Discuss what you learned, normalizing failure as growth. 2. Ask for help. Say, "What are your thoughts?" to show it's okay not to know everything. 3. Acknowledge emotions. Naming feelings like "I'm anxious about this deadline" humanizes you and validates others' emotions. 4. Admit when you're wrong. Simply say, "I was wrong. Here's what we'll do differently," to build credibility. 5. Listen deeply. Be present. Ask thoughtful questions and truly value others' perspectives. A leadership team I worked with transformed their culture with a simple practice. At weekly meetings, each person shared 1 challenge and 1 win. This small ritual completely changed their dynamics, increasing collaboration and bringing problems forward earlier. Research from the Center for Creative Leadership confirms that leaders who show vulnerability are rated as more authentic and inspiring, with their teams reporting higher levels of innovation and engagement. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to challenge you with this. What would change in your leadership if you embraced strategic vulnerability? How might your team respond if they saw more of your authentic self? Your action step for this week is to practice 1 act of strategic vulnerability with your team. Maybe it's admitting a mistake, asking for help with a challenge, or sharing something you're learning. Notice what happens, both how it feels for you and how others respond. Remember, vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the ultimate form of courage in leadership. And in today's world, where we crave authentic connection more than ever, vulnerable leadership isn't just nice to have, it's a competitive advantage. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe to the Deliberate Leaders podcast wherever you get your podcasts and leave a review to help other leaders discover these conversations. Until next time, this is Allison Dunn, reminding you that the most deliberate leaders have the courage to be vulnerable. Thank you for listening.